so much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the second day of this wonderful event. Thanks again to Trustcon for the invitation to share with you some thoughts and summarize the 30 days World Cup in 15 minutes. So it will be very challenging. This was a very successful event in Qatar. It's a successful event for the region as well. And we had the highest number of spectators in the stadium, the highest number of goals scored, and so on. So I will try to not get into the details, but I will touch into 3-4 solutions that we developed in Qatar Mobility and Innovation Center, and we deployed during the World Cup. Okay. So that's QMIC is a Qatar Mobility Innovation Center, is an innovation center, is not a company. It was created jointly between Qatar University and Qatar Science Technology Park. So our aim really is not to do research, basic research, but to take research to the product. So company, usually they they sell and buy in the market. Universities, they do basic research, but in QMIC, we take it from research to the market delivery. This is our mission. And I like a lot yesterday the speech of the president of Dubai University. So we are not doing research and development only, but research and business development. So this is unique there, and hopefully that will be the case in all the region. So our result is economic impact, knowledge security, plus technology industries. This is what we do. So you can see in the below, we have a lot of customers, and my focus today will be in the solution developed in QMIC to support the World Cup, to support FIFA, to support the Supreme Committee of Legacy and Delivery in Qatar, and to support our road operator Ashghal. So to start with, I will present not one and not two, I will present 4 products, all of them based on AI and deployed and built in Qatar. So very important to have homegrown solutions. Yes, we like our international vendors, we like to partner with them, but having solutions developed in our country is very important to have knowledge security is extremely important these days. So the first one is Masarak, is about intelligent transportation and traffic monitoring. This one was started really early on from 2010 through proof of concept, pilot, and then we deployed the solution at a larger scale during the World Cup. So the Masarak, basically what it does, it collects a lot of data from different sources. So we have discussed this topic yesterday. Data is extremely important, and put your hands on your data is extremely important. Don't rely on third sources. So this is what we did. We had 3 data sources deployed in Qatar. One of them is sensors, the other one is crowdsourced data, the third one is fleet data, and we're combining them together, fusing. The term fusion was highlighted yesterday. Here we are fusing the data together and developing a lot of AI and intelligence in the middle, in the brain, and then deploying applications. So this application can be mobile application, web application, API services, and so on. And this was deployed and used in Qatar. Basically, without going into the details, we are collecting data, which is location data. So we are talking about speed, direction, position, and so on, and fusing this data together and delivering these applications. We have our own mobile application, which is extremely important, our own super app that we have developed over the years. So it's, from first look, you can see it's similar to Google, but not really similar to Google Maps. It's something customized in Qatar. We have our own maps. We have our own features in terms of event, in terms of customizing the app to the region. So Google Maps is the same app everywhere. But this one is very customized to Qatar. And we can see the number of users increasing during the World Cup, I think, and the density of the users in the map. The second one is we have our own sensor, which is deployed on the ground, around 400 devices deployed in Qatar. This sensor was designed and fully built by Qatar Mobility Innovation Center. It basically what it does, it scans Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices passing by. So if you have your Bluetooth on, it will be able to get the ID and hash it and send it to the backend in real time. And this is very impressive, basically, especially giving the high-end cars that we have in the region, giving the high-end phones. And after COVID, most of us had Bluetooth on always. So the Bluetooth penetration is very high. So this is no intrusive data source that we collect and we monitor, as you see in the dashboard, real time, we monitor the data sources. From first view, when you develop a system, you see it's very simple, all right? But when it comes to operation, maintenance, and making sure that your data sources are always live and so on, you need a lot of tools. You need your team on the ground. And this is the challenge, really. So when it comes to building a product, it's not like doing a basic research or applied research. You have the product, you need to maintain it, you need to monitor, you need to detect all the data sources that you have and keep it running. And this was very beneficial during the World Cup. Of course, out of this, we have a lot of executive dashboards that have been used during the World Cup by the Operation Center, Cooperation and Command Center, and this is one of them. So we set up a command center during the World Cup, and they had access to all the stadiums and all the traffic around the stadiums, and this was operating, of course, 24 hours during the World Cup. The second product that I want to touch on is this one. We call it Route Scan. Okay? So, you know, in the region, we have a lot of road infrastructure projects in the last 10, 20 years, right? So how to make sure to keep our maps up to date, and up to date, I'm talking about every week, you need updates, right? So we have a lot of contractors working with the route operators, and they have, yes, we have standards processes to put all the signs in the street, but we need really to make sure when you deliver applications and service to the end user, we need to make sure to scan all these route signs and put them in the map so that you can deliver the user the right information at the right time. And this is very important for automated driving, for example. So we developed this system because we have our field survey team using only dashcam or mobile app, and you scan the street and you get the number of lanes, you get all the signs and their location in real time and added to the map. This one was very important during the World Cup and was used before the World Cup to make sure that all the information is added correctly at the right place at the right time. So again, another one is we call it Deep Route, is using plate recognition as an information for this one. We have a lot of plate recognition systems, right? You have them in the parking, you have them in entrance of the building, and so on. And if you look carefully to this plate recognition system, all of them, they work at low speed. So some of them you see, there is also a speed hump before them to make sure that vehicles, they slow down to be able to capture their plate number, right? These are working, these are very good for access control. But when it comes to high-speed, multi-lane highways, this will not work, okay? So, and when it comes also to make sure that it's working during night and day, you need infrared illuminator, and you need a lot of hardware capability to do that. So what we did, basically, we developed a system and we trained it for plates for Qatar for the time being, and it was working perfectly using existing infrastructure. So we're not talking about deploying new assets, because RTA, Road Authority, or Ashghal in Qatar, they have thousands of cameras already in their streets, right? But all of them are underused. Most of them are used maybe 1–2% of their capabilities. So the idea how to leverage these video streams, which are they're receiving these video streams in their operation center, and develop intelligence on top of that. So we have been collecting data for, I think, 2 years, and to train the system and make the system operational, and the system is live. So again, you can see the capabilities in terms of detection of plate numbers, detection of classes of vehicles, and so on. So now we are on talk with the Ministry of Interior to expand this in Qatar and to make use of other cameras as well. So this can be used, of course, not only for traffic management, for security, for law enforcement, and so on. Yesterday, we discussed II, right? So people, they are saying II systems is not similar to IT systems, which is the case, really. So IT system, you buy the IT system, you deploy it, and it's there. So you may have some updates from the vendor, but it will be working if you don't have any maintenance contract, right? II system is not the case. You may have data drift, you may have model drift, so you need really to make sure that you keep monitoring your system and you keep training, you keep detecting data drift and model drift and make sure that the system is running and giving the same accuracy at day 1, day 2, and after 1 year, right? You may train the system, first day deployed is giving 105% accuracy, right? But after 1 year, it will drift for many reasons that maybe some of you, I don't want to go into details, but you know these reasons. So we talk here about machine learning operation, MLOps, or in the era of generative AI, we talk about LLM ops. Is how to make sure that you get your data, you train it, you validate it, and then this cycle is an iterative cycle, right? And then you deploy it. But you have the tools in place to make sure that you validate always the data, you experiment with the new models, you keep logs, and so on. So this is an exercise, very important. So in terms of jobs, yesterday we were talking about we are going to lose jobs. No. This is a new job. This is MLOps engineers. It's very high demanding skills now. So we need MLOps engineers that can do this, right? Instead of developing maybe applications and softwares, they need to develop tools and skills to make sure they have the right skills to validate and experiment with different models. And this is applicable for whatever model we deploy. So whatever we did basically in terms of traffic monitoring during the World Cup and assessing the road congestion and waiting time at the stops and so on, we published this as irregularly, basically, but we published what was the match which had the highest congestion during the World Cup, what is the average waiting time at the signals and so on. So you can find all this data online. Plus, we were publishing a daily dashboard about the activity at the airport in terms of number of trips that we have from the airport to the airport, and then the performance of the whole network comparing to the yesterday, comparing to before the World Cup, and the intersection time as well. So junctions is very important that we have all these dashboards online. So after the World Cup, we said, okay, we have tons of data, right? Millions of data which were collecting during the World Cup. And we give you some glimpse about the opening game. So this is the opening game, and that one is the closing game, the ceremony. This was in Al Bayt Stadium, one of the new stadium, and the other one was in Lusail Stadium with the highest capacity of 80,000 spectators. So given that we have this wave traffic device deployed in all cities in Qatar, we are able to track people, basically, right? Moving from one area to one area till reaching the airport using the Bluetooth ID or the Wi-Fi ID, which is hashed, right? So we're able to create this kind of animation using billions of records of data that we are able to collect, right? So we can see during the opening game, people coming from the airport. You see the airport? So people coming to the airport to go to the stadium, right? So we know these people are coming from the airport. As you know, Qatar Airways signed contracts with agreement with Fly Dubai, with Etihad, with Oman Airlines, and so on. So you have lots of spectators really living here in Dubai and flying just for the game, or in Muscat or in Jeddah, right? So there are a lot of people coming to only for the game and going back to these nice cities. So you can see the flow of people going to the stadium. Same thing for the closing ceremony, and these basically were live in the operation center. So every next day they have access to the these videos in real time at the high level. Okay, you can dig deeper to see the journey time, to see the classifications of cars, and so on. The third system, the last one I want to talk about is Falcon Eye. So I think I don't have a lot of time, but I will take maybe 2 minutes for this. Falcon Eye is leveraging again the infrastructure that we have in terms of video. So we have a lot of cameras around, and we are working closely with the road operator, which is Ashghal, to make use of these cameras, right? So this is about monitoring cars in the yellow box, about monitoring the queue in real time, and sending the information to the traffic management center so that they can adapt the phasing of the signal, plus counting all the cars and classify them. Yes, we do have loop detectors, but these loop detectors are very high. They have very high costs in terms of maintenance, plus crowd management and crowd counting. So we deployed this during the World Cup, also in the parking management. So around the stadium, we have a lot of parking, temporary parking. So they cannot afford having a sophisticated parking management system where they have, in every slot, they have a sensor, right? So they need to monitor in and out. But in and out can be 6-lane, can be 4-lane. So what we did, actually, we worked very closely with the committee in charge of this, and we developed a system which is a standalone system with a pole, solar panel, device, edge computing, to count all these cars in and out, and provide them with a nice dashboard, which is real time, to know the capacity of this parking in real time. And people on the ground, they can move people, they can close barriers, they can switch people, ask them to go to the other parking, and so on. Plus, we provide this information real time in our Wayne application. So if you are going to the parking, you know the capacity of that parking. So you can select the best parking, which is depending on your ticket class, right? And this is what was the most successful system during the World Cup. Plus, of course, we have a system. The system provides the ability to configure the area of interest, provide the ability to monitor the intersections, because if you have thousands of cameras, basically, in your operation room, you cannot see all these cameras, right? You need to operate by exception. You need to be alerted when there is a problem, right? And this is what the system provides, is alerting in case any issue, it alerts it, it provides the proof, and so on. So I think I don't have a lot of time, but this Falcon Eye, again, is a home ground solution. This same solution can be developed in UAE and Saudi and so on, but the issue really is take it really to the end, is make sure that, okay, you collect the right data, you train the system, you build the system, and you keep updating that system. And this is not easy to be done by a vendor from outside. It's not easy to be done by university. You need to have local institutions which can, or local people in your organization who can really build such kind of system and keep it live for a long time. Thank you so much. And I think we not have time to questions, but this is my LinkedIn profile. Connect to me and we'll be able to discuss further. Thanks so much.